welcome to a special edition of Autoblog Live. I'm Greg Migliori. Joining me today is John Snyder. We're going to talk to you about all the big hits from the Los Angeles Auto Show, also known as Automobility. Lots of good sheet metal, lots of cool cars, lots of big news. It was a good show. So let's just jump right in, John.
Yeah, I think the big showstopper of LA was the Jeep Wrangler. We all knew it was coming, and yeah, it delivered. It's the JL, it replaces the JK model. It's a lighter body on frame platform. And I think most exciting thing about it is the powertrain lineup. We've got a 2.0T doing 270 horsepower, 295 pound-feet with an 8-speed automatic transmission with mild hybrid. So it does e-assist, start-stop, coasting, regen. There's also a Pentastar 3.6-liter V6, which is
kind of the long-running engine.
Yeah,
it's in like every FCA product.
It's a solid engine.
Sure.
It makes 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet, and that is mated to either a 6-speed manual transmission or an 8-speed automatic. That also has stop-start. And then also available is the 3.0-liter EcoDiesel.
EcoDiesel, man.
Yeah, that's going to be available in 2019 with 260 horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque. And I think that's pretty exciting because I've been waiting for the diesel to come back for quite a while.
If you've driven, any of the EcoDiesels and the Ram products, the Ram or the Grand Cherokee, it's a pretty strong engine. I'm excited. There's something about a diesel in the Wrangler and really any Jeep that, to me, that just makes sense. Maybe it goes back to kind of that military feel.
Sure.
Some people are like, for certain vehicles, like say an Equinox diesel, it feels a little different. It's weird, to have a diesel in that kind of vehicle. You got to get past the preconceptions, but that's just a different argument. But to me, for the Wrangler, that just fits.
Yeah, I mean, it can seem a little clunky in some cars, but yeah, for the Wrangler, I remember growing up driving CJs that had diesel engines. That was a classic thing. So I'm glad to see it back.
In breaking news, just in, Mike Manley confirmed this at the Los Angeles Auto Show this week. A plug-in hybrid model, electric, 2020. It's on tap. I'm excited about that. We were talking about this off camera. This might be the vehicle I think both of us very strongly consider getting. In 2020.
I would hold out for the PHEV. I could feel a little bit better about the environment as I trample it in my off-road vehicle.
Right.
But I think it'd make it, a lot better even in the city, just saving fuel. And, of course, the extra torque from the electric motors off-road would be great. Yeah,
for me, it would probably come down to pricing. I think, there's a little bit of a premium for the diesel engine, likely for this. There is for the other FCA diesels. The Turbo 4 is an intriguing engine, too, with something like 295 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty potent. Not necessarily sure that's the dynamic I'd want in my Jeep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Part of me almost thinks, all things being equal, if, just that Pentastar V6 is, essentially, the cheapest engine and, I might just go that way. Call me a curmudgeon, but that's a really good engine.
Yeah, you wouldn't go wrong with that. I mean, it really is a solid motor.
Yeah, and then, again, it would come down to pricing, but to your point, that plug-in, that changes what the Wrangler could do. Not only does it help off-road, suddenly it makes it perhaps a viable, just SUV that you could drive around suburbia, which if you live in Metro Detroit, you see Wranglers everywhere. It's literally, it's 1 out of 5 cars. People get the employee discount and people love Wranglers. They're awesome. But right now they're not great on gas and they're not good at all on gas, really. And they're not that comfortable, frankly. And this new one is supposed to be a little bit more comfortable while not compromising those sort of trail capabilities. But then you throw in a plug-in hybrid and well, wait a minute here. Now I got something.
Yeah.
So I think we're really excited about the diesel and the hybrid.
I'll be following that closely because I'm curious to see what, the fuel savings will be and the benefits on and off-road from the electric motor.
So that's what the Wrangler is. We'll kind of quickly move through here. The significance, I don't think you can say enough. This is the icon for Jeep.
And it's a tasteful evolution, I'd say. It's not groundbreaking. It's got a nicer interior, but they didn't go too crazy. I don't think the purists are going to be angry.
Right.
But yeah, it just gives people a little more content and more comfort.
I really like it. I saw it at the Design Dome a couple weeks ago. There was a backgrounder for journalists, and it has this presence. It's a fresher presence. Like, the old one does not look that different.
Right.
They basically did not change much. But just those new headlights, they're piercing. The grille is kind of like a Keystone grille is what they called it, which essentially the Mark Allen, he's the head designer, has said they've kind of like sort of massaged the front end. And you can see it, like side by side, you can see some differences, and really it's, 200 pounds lighter. There's just so many Easter eggs, like all those Easter eggs that you would see on the Easter Safari concepts that you had to essentially buy a special edition Wrangler or Jeep to get. They're all standard on the new JL, which I think is sweet.
And it's got the folding windshield.
Folding windshield.
Which is really cool.
6 screws or bolts to get it completely off, 4 to turn it down. It's so much easier. The current one is something like 28 screws or bolts, excuse me. You turn it down, you have to break paint. It's a pain. So, I mean, again, I'm just picturing myself in 2019 or 2020 rolling around, and I'd probably get the 4-door. I know the 2-door Rubicon's that military icon, but I'd probably get the 4-door. I'd put my windshield down. This is what I'm envisioning. Me in the next couple years rolling around town.
I could see you fording a few rivers with your dog in the back.
Dog and also future product, baby, also in 2018.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So, lots of different things going on in this future Greg and this future Wrangler.
Yeah.
But we've talked a lot about that. Speaking of family vehicles, the Subaru Ascent, 3-row SUV, big deal. It's very, it's subtle. It's very Subaru looking. Doesn't look, at all out of place in the Subaru lineup. It was definitely one of our most clicked on stories. The videos got a lot of views. So if you're watching this, clearly you like the Subaru Ascent. I think it's a critical vehicle for them. We're talking about just some basics here. It's a 3-row vehicle, 260 horsepower turbo 4-cylinder, and it could hold up to 8 people.
Yeah, it's an 8-passenger 3-row, but you can do captain's chairs in the second row for no extra cost. The engine is new. It's a 2.4-liter flat 4 with a twin scroll turbo. Makes 260 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a CVT, but it has a manual mode with paddles. And it's got the X mode off-road button with a hill descent, and it can tow 5,000 pounds.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I think here's some other key specs. 19 cup holders. It's a lot of cup holders. And 8 USB ports, which you need.
Yep.
And I believe it held 18 golden retrievers for the reveal.
I think it was 8.
8, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
8.
It was a lot
18
of dogs.
golden retrievers would be a lot, but 8 is still a lot.
I'm sure
of
they'd
dogs.
fit.
They probably would.
Yeah.
So it's definitely Subaru's playing to the crowd of people that have, maybe you have one kid and the second kid's on the way, or you have 2 and your normal compact midsize crossover is done. The third is on the way, and you got to move up to that 3rd row. And that's what they're trying to do, is keep everybody in the family.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what makes this so significant.
Yeah, it's not a super exciting car, really. It's a safe move. They needed a 3-row. And, I think they'll find a lot of customers from their own current pool of customers. Sort of fills a gap in their lineup.
Sure.
And it's better than a Tribeca. And it looks all right. I mean, it looks like a chubby Outback.
Right.
But I can dig that.
I'm surprised how many people I get the Tribeca is obviously this thing's sort of spiritual successor, but it's every article I'm reading on the Ascent, people are just there's it's like Mad Libs. It's just 4 paragraphs in. Sucker punch the B9 Tribeca.
Yeah.
And it's just all right, yeah, that thing was not great.
There were things I liked about it.
I remember that Star Wars Enterprise,
exactly,
console. I mean, yeah, it was not great. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, it wasn't great. I digress.
I liked it more than I think a lot of other people did. But
yeah.
I wasn't in love with it.
The timing wasn't quite right. The SUV craze wasn't full bloom at that point.
Right.
And when they killed it, gas prices were so high.
Yeah.
Subaru was probably smart to get rid of it. Frankly, I'm surprised they didn't call this thing the Tribeca, but Ascent is just a better name.
Yeah, I think going away from the Tribeca nameplate is a good idea. There's a lot of sort of negative opinions out there connected to that name.
So this is going to compete against probably the Volkswagen Atlas. You know, when you look at vehicles that it's probably truly going to be cross-shopped against. I mean, naturally, you've got the Durango, the Grand Cherokee, the Explorer, you know, lots of, you know, everything from Honda, from Chevy, Toyota. But to me, the Atlas is kind of this thing's like natural rival. They're coming at about the same time. They're like essentially, you know, either like reborn or first ever 3 rows for these companies.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I think that's what really, they're going after that same customer.
And it's basically, going to come down to, you know, personal styling preferences, I think. I personally, you know, I get inside a Subaru and I generally like the way it feels. I like where things are and the way, you know, the steering responds. It all feels familiar to me. And then there's some people who just, you know, prefer Volkswagens. It's like the grown-up WRX driver or the grown-up GTI driver.
Right.
Which one are they going to pick, you know?
I think what you're going to see is a lot of sort of, if you're in the Subaru or the Volkswagen family, you're going to stick with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, it'll be interesting though. I think they could potentially poach some of the, you know, the other, you know, like Toyota and Honda people who are like, well, what's this? These two things are different. Maybe I'll take a look at it. But, you know, until we really drive both these vehicles, and we have driven the Atlas. I've driven the Atlas, but you know, I think the trick is going to be these have to be demonstrably better to get you out of, you know, your Toyota or your Ford or something.
They're up against some solid vehicles for sure.
So, but moving along, more new crossovers. Really, LA was just a total SUV show. It was like we had some pretty cool fast cars and some luxury things, of course the Wrangler, but just like it was just like SUV, crossover, SUV, so many just different sizes, shapes, all forms, and that brings us to the Nissan Kicks.
Yep. And yeah, the LA show is a sign of the times, and the Nissan Kicks is, you know, another aspect of that. Compact crossovers are becoming more and more common, and this one replaces the Juke, which I don't know how I feel about it, but anyway, it's going to start at less than $19,000, well under, says Nissan. It'll have a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, making 125 horsepower and 115 pound-feet of torque, going through a CVT to the front wheels only. That means it's not going to be probably as much fun to drive,
right?
But it's going to get a lot better fuel economy. Nissan's expecting 33 miles per gallon combined, which is
pretty solid.
Yeah, that is. I think that'll be a big draw. That and the price will be a big draw for it.
It's probably a more practical vehicle than the Juke. The Juke ended up essentially being like an enthusiast car. I think, you know, you could get some of them like the Nismo. There was manual transmissions. The design was just so polarizing.
Yeah, it had sort of a cult following.
It did, and I think that's cool. And it's one of those things where people like in our business, like a lot of cars are pretty similar, and almost all cars are pretty good. So when there's something different that stands out, well, hey, the Juke is this thing over there that's pretty cool. It's different. We like it. It's different than the other things we drive. It's not vanilla. But the problem is they weren't doing that great on the sales charts.
Yeah.
Joe Blow American public is definitely going to like the Kicks a lot more, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely more mainstream, at least in its looks. And I think it's attractive. I
do too.
I like the way it looks. I liked the way the Juke looked, too, even though it was weird. But I kind of love weird, ugly cars with big bug eyes. Yeah. But, yeah, I think this one's nice looking. It's got a bunch of vibrant colors and two-tone options. So there's a little bit of funk to it yet. But, yeah, I think it sort of fills that sort of space of an affordable small crossover. It's like the crossover equivalent of the Versa.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, you know, to your point, it looks good. It's pretty fuel efficient. I mean, the name is good. The Nissan Juke kind of sounds like junk. I remember some jokes. Just Kicks just is better.
It reminds me of cereal, right? It reminds me of my childhood.
That was what, that orange kind of fruity cereal? It's pretty good, yeah. It sounds better. It's like, it sounds more like, young, singles, just married, maybe one kid, Nissan Kicks. There you go. It just, yeah, I really think this is going to do a lot more for them than the Juke ever did. And this is a guy who kind of liked the Juke. You know, I don't think I liked it quite as much as you did or do. If you want a real hot take on the Juke, check out Joel Stockdale's piece on Autoblog. Went up this morning. He is not a fan of the Kicks. If it was up to him, he would punt the Kicks right on down the road. But that's good. People are talking about these things.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I actually drive it. I could maybe see myself, that the CVT gives me a little bit of pause, but I could see myself maybe trying to have some fun wringing out the most of this little engine. Depends on the driving dynamics, but we'll see.
So it's pretty significant. We both generally like it. Right now, it's kind of that wait and see thing. I mean, it's a little hard to have that severe of an opinion about a car, unless you're Joel, this early in the process. But that's great. So moving along, another new vehicle, another new name. The Lincoln Nautilus is a thing now. Replaces the MKX. Pretty good looking vehicle. It's basically, you know, it signals a lot of new things for Lincoln, that they're not going to do the MK naming nomenclature anymore, which I think is great. I don't think that ever really caught on. People didn't know what it was. Lincoln is a great brand with a lot of history, so I think they have so many good names they could roll out. And there's a lot of names like Nautilus, which I don't believe they've ever used, that does sound good with Lincoln. So to me, this is an advantage they have over like Lexus and Infiniti and a lot of other brands where, you know, people mix up those cars. So it's a new name, lots of new stuff going on with this vehicle. It's a pretty significantly redesigned MKX, new styling. That grille looks pretty good. 3 different engines, 2.7 liter. Lots of good stuff going on.
I think I'm not sure if there's 3 or 2, but there's
3. You're right.
Well, I know there's a 2-liter turbo.
Okay.
And then there's a 2.7 twin turbo V6.
Okay.
They're both connected to an 8-speed automatic. I'm not sure if there's another one.
Okay.
I have to go back and look.
Right.
But anyway, all-wheel drive with all-wheel drive disconnect. Bunch of safety features, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, pre-collision braking. And yeah, I mean, Lincoln said that the nomenclature, the MK whatever nomenclature, was confusing for their customers in China, where they have a growing base. But yeah, I think it's confusing here too. So I like that they're moving more toward real names.
Yeah, I mean, just the Nautilus looks pretty good. Specs seem to grade out pretty well, no matter how many engines it might offer. It looks pretty good. Interior looks solid. And the MKX was their best-selling vehicle because that's the bullseye part of the market. This is what people are buying. So they really have to get this right. A lot of good names coming out of the LA show, like we said, the Kicks, the Hyundai Kona, the Subaru Ascent, and I think Nautilus is one of them. I think this is actually I would say the most daring play. Because Nautilus could sound a little bit like nauseous. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue all that well, but it's also a cool word. Is like, we're word guys. I think it looks great on paper.
And it evokes a sense of travel. Nautilus, it makes you think of like seafaring and stuff. And then they've got the Navigator. You know, it's a common theme, I think.
Yeah, I think if they're going to pull it off, and I mean, it's better than the MKX. Ironically, I thought the MKX was really the only MK name that actually worked, because like X crossover, X, it's kind of, you know, that was like to me the only one that made sense. MKS, no thank you. MKT, never got it. MKC maybe was the second least worst. I don't know, but to be fair, we're not ragging on Lincoln. Like, I mix up the Lexuses all the time. I know the RX because it's their best-selling vehicle, basically, but like NX, GX, like, come on, guys, it gets confusing. And same with Infiniti and even the Cadillac. You know, I think they're going to see this like, you know, XT and CT nomenclature might not be as strong a play as they think it is. In some ways, I think they might have been on the right track going, you know, back towards names, or even just like the CTS things. But I digress. Sticking with Lincoln, this is it's going to be on sale soon. It's, you know, critical vehicle. I don't know. I think I like the name. I like the car. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's, you know,
not a lot to say about it. I mean, it's good enough.
It's good enough. Yeah, I mean,
it'll do good.
What I think is intriguing about the Lincoln brand in general right now is, you know, they've got some fairly strong products in critical segments. They've got like the sort of like the A6 Fighter with the Continental. It's not like a true 7 Series S-Class thing, but it's about as big as they need to be. You know, they've got the Navigator, of course, which is just an icon. And now they've got the Nautilus. And then, you know, they've got to come up with, you know, eventually the MKC replacement, MKT sort of, you know, basically that's like a fleet livery thing anyway. But I feel like they're in okay shape. They just need to kind of, I think, change the perception a little bit more. And what they need to do is kind of cut through the clutter. Yeah. Because right now in this age of autonomous cars, Tesla this, you know, company Faraday Future, XYZ other company you've never heard of. Like, that's what's in the news right now. Then maybe GM or Ford kind of are over here and Volkswagen does something. The Lincoln brand is just like, even though their products are pretty solid, like so far, like in this like quiet place that, I don't know, I think they need to do something to really shake things up. I don't know what that is, but this is solid product. Base hit up the middle, it'll do what it needs to do, but I think they need some other sort of like moonshot to get people really talking about the rest of the brand.
Well, we'll be paying attention to that for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see. For the, you know, the Lincoln mid-engine supercar, I don't know, whatever that is. But speaking of, you know, kind of random things, concept, also in LA, big deal, the FTAC concept. It's pretty wild looking.
Yeah.
It's basically a design study.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they didn't give a lot of details about it. It stands for Future Toyota Adventure Concept. It's got all-wheel drive with torque vectoring, terrain response. It's got a roof rack, a bike rack, and yeah, the biggest thing is the styling. It's got a lot going on in the front end, and then I think the rear is pretty stylish. The front end was a little off-putting, but yeah, it looks a lot better from behind.
It's the second straight like North American auto show where Toyota has rolled out like a random concept. Yeah. They had that other kind of quirky thing in New York that was like, it had like, what did it have, like North Face or something, like tents inside of it. It was just all this random stuff, and it was meant to like spur conversation. And I think that's what this is doing, only it's obviously more realistic than that New York concept. And to me, I kind of look at this and think maybe this is what the 4Runner ultimately evolves into in like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. It looks pretty good.
This could be a preview for future cars. I expect they will tone down some of the styling, especially up front. But yeah, they didn't really say much more about it. But we'll see what comes of it. Yeah.
Definitely one of the, I wouldn't call this one of the crazy runaway highlights of the show, but as we're just kind of whipping through some of the other significant reveals, it's something you're going to, head to our site, check out the videos, check out the pictures, look at it up close, get onto, our social platforms, tweet at us, let us know what you think about things like this concept. So,
yeah, there weren't a lot of concepts at this show.
Yes, that's what I like about Toyota is like people sometimes ding them for being this like conservative button down brand. Like I said, this is 2 straight North American auto shows where, boom, they've got arguably one of the weirdest concepts there. So good for them. Yeah. Other thing that I think we'd be remiss about if we left out is the i8 Roadster. It's about time is my initial thought there.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise. It's a surprise that it took this long, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, it's finally here. That and the coupe both have some improvements. Range is up from 15 miles to 18 miles of electric range.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, they could have done a little better, but I don't know. You don't want to put too much weight in the batteries. Right. It's got the Roadster has a top that closes in 16 seconds. The aluminum pieces that hold the top to the car are 3D printed. I know BMW's iVentures has been investing in companies like 3D printing and stuff like that. So this might be part of that collaboration. Let's see. The Roadster weighs 132 pounds more than the coupe at 3513. And it can stay in EV mode up to 65 miles per hour.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. It's and it does 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. The coupe does it in 4.2. It's a little faster than before. It's up 12 horsepower to 141, and BMW says they
That's
made,
just for the electric part, right? 141.
Yeah.
Right.
Then because the 3-pot gas engine is 228 horsepower.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's turbocharged.
Sure.
They said they've made that more efficient, less emissions, and better sounding. So
Cool. So I mean, basically, short answer: it's a Spider, Roadster, convertible, whatever you want to call it. i8.
Yep.
Pretty cool looking. It's coming soon to the professional athlete / rock star in your local city.
This spring.
This spring, yeah. I think LA is a great place to reveal something like this because it's it's a starry, sort of Hollywood car.
It's an eye-catching car for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know what took them so long because the regular car has been out for quite a while.
Yeah.
But
and they've had open top concepts for a really long time of this vehicle, so it's good to finally see it come to production.
Cool, definitely. Now, in other news, a lot of just like little nuggets, things that kind of came out of the LA Auto Show, things that happened at the show, were said at the show, were said around the show, or just this week. It was kind of like a newsy week, which is good. Good for us. Let's check this out here. We got a Jaguar Nürburgring time. The XE, souped up XE, runs a 721. It's pretty fast.
It's the XE SV Project 8, and that time of 721 makes it the fastest production sedan around the Nürburgring. The STI that did less than 7 minutes was built for the track.
Right.
So that rules it out. This Project 8, they're going to sell 300 of them worldwide.
Cool.
So it's pretty rare.
I like the XE.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I do too.
Yeah.
And a hot one is I love hot sedans. It's going to cost $188,495.
It's a lot for an XE, which base is around 30 or so, they say.
Right. And this video of the Nürburgring that you see behind us, that's you can go watch that on our website.
It's pretty sweet. Check it out. That is the another really quick time put down at the Nürburgring. I think we're getting a little skeptical about some of these, but I mean, hey, there's the video. They did it. They beat out the an Alfa Romeo Giulia. So yeah, check out that video. It's pretty cool. In other news, Kia rolled out the Niro plug-in hybrid. They literally just showed this. Press conference was like less than an hour ago. So check that out. We got the full rundown on the site. Essentially what this is the plug-in version of the Niro hybrid. Nothing too overwhelming there, but 105 mpge and 26 miles of just pure EV driving range. So, again, I think Kia is just trying to get ahead of the curve here where like hybrids, plug-in hybrids are just one of the things you might want to consider when you're buying a car.
Yeah, I think more affordable plug-in hybrid or plug-in options in general there are, the better.
Yeah. As a green car editor probably would.
Yeah, I think the more that they're on the market, it's going to cause more competition and have everyone step up their game. But yeah, this one will be available by year's end.
Good looking vehicle. I think it's smart move for Kia. I'm really impressed with Kia on how they're just saying like, look, we're not the biggest hybrid guys or the electric guys. Other people probably have more money, but we're just going to use this technology and we're going to put it in all different parts of our portfolio where we think consumers might want it. Like, yeah, the i8 is an electric car and a hybrid. It costs as much as a lot of people's houses.
Yeah.
This you could buy.
Yeah.
So props to Kia for doing it.
They make a lot of cars that contain a lot of nice content, and they're relatively affordable.
Sure.
And that's sort of their thing, and they do it well.
Speaking of other things that probably will be a little less affordable, is the ID Cross confirmed for 2020.
They tell us it'll be affordable. I'm not exactly sure what affordable means.
Yeah, a little cynical on what affordable means on that, but
yeah.
But I hope it is.
It's confirmed. VW ID Cross is coming in 2020. It's about the size and shape of a Tiguan. Well, not the shape. It's more of a four-door coupe, sort of.
Right.
A coupe over.
Looks good.
Yeah, I think it's attractive.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to do much to it to change it for production.
No, I hope they don't. I think it almost looks like Tesla. Like you could argue maybe Tesla looks like Volkswagen. I don't know.
It's got a little bit of that silhouette. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's going to be the first of their new EVs coming to the U.S., followed by the ID Buzz in 2022. So that'll be cool.
That'll be awesome.
I'm really looking forward to that one. I think a lot of people are.
Absolutely. I was at, I think it was Pebble Beach where they confirmed that. Really cool move for Volkswagen. I think what you're seeing right now is they're relentlessly trying to change the message about them as like diesel car company. And what they're saying now is like every car show you go to, it's like, here's our other electric crossover, or here's our thing we talked about a couple years ago that we're now confirming, and hey, it's electric. So it's a smart move. I really think, vehicles like this are going to excite American consumers, and people are going to want to buy these things.
Yeah, I think Volkswagen's starting to put Dieselgate behind them, maybe a little bit finally. They're expected to have record sales this year, so hopefully this is a sign of good things to come. Yeah,
big news for Volkswagen. Another cool thing we got to talk about is the Mercedes-Benz CLS. They got an inline six in this thing, which I think is great. And most of all, it's drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a crazy departure from what came before it, but yeah, it's definitely attractive. The straight six, 3-liter turbo. It's got a 48-volt mild hybrid system in it, so stop-start and all that. 362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, made into a 9-speed automatic transmission. They didn't give a lot of other figures. They said it's 130 mile-per-hour top speed. They didn't give 0 to 60 or fuel economy, but yeah.
It's a CLS. I mean, it's going to be pretty quick for a big car. It looks pretty good. I'm really impressed with like what Mercedes is doing with their like sort of evolving design language. I think they're toning down some of that, like, if you looked at their smaller vehicles were just so swoopy and curvy, and now it's like they're just kind of making these lines sort of refined. They're tapered. It's, I'd say, a little more angular, but also there's still some sort of curves in there too. So,
and their interiors have always been sort of, I don't know, stodgy, I guess. This one, it looks really nice inside too, and it's got that dual digital display available. That's in the S-Class that we have in the office right now. So yeah, and it's got these the energizing comfort system, which you put on a mode and it sort of sets the mood for you with lighting and temperature and sound. And a massage, of course.
We've both driven our S-Class. A little bit of a tangent here. Yeah, that is it. No car knows how to set the mood quite like an S-Class. I had like the scent was going, whatever that is. The air was purified, or whatever they call it. I was getting like a hot stone massage. It was a pretty great commute. I don't know if I've walked into work feeling that refreshed in a while.
It's relaxing, for sure.
Mercedes S-Class, CLS, right down the line. You can get some pretty great options in these things that really make your ride comfortable. But we got to wrap things up here with some Corvette ZR1 pricing. Let's see. They unveiled this at the Los Angeles show in convertible form. The coupe, which we saw, Reese saw it in Dubai a couple weeks ago. $119,995, and then for the convertible, it's $4,000 more. So,
and it's 60 pounds heavier.
60 pounds heavier. Okay, makes sense. That's the pricing. It's pretty expensive for a Corvette, but that's about what that's kind of where I thought it would come down, is actually the pricing for both these, and then just actually getting to see the convertible.
Yeah,
pretty good looking.
And it's got an aero package that costs an extra $3,000. But our contributor, James Riswick, did a walk around with one of the engineers or designers.
Tom Peters, design director. Got to check that out.
Yeah, it was a great video. Really went over a lot of the details, and there's a lot of really beautiful details in the ZR1. The carbon work is awesome. And yeah, he said with the aero package, it does 1,000 pounds of downforce. Would not want to be run over by that.
That is wicked. That's just awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, that was it was exciting to see that, and to know how much you have to spend to pay for it. I'm going to start saving up.
There you go. It's always fun when they just kind of roll out those pricing. And if you're in the market for a Corvette, you got 123 bills you want to drop, throw the Corvette into our car finder. It can help you determine if the Corvette, or perhaps a Lamborghini Aventador, or a souped up Ferrari or something would be the competitive set. But use our car finder, check things out. And that is basically the LA Auto Show. I think
that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, there's more on our website. You'll definitely want to go check out Nissan's Star Wars vehicles. Those are pretty cool.
Pretty sweet. A lot of cool videos on basically everything at the show. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter, tweet at us, leave stuff. Please leave comments on the articles that we put up, that support our articles on Facebook. Leave us comments. Let us know what you think. We want to hear from you. It's been a good show. It's been fun. John Snyder. I'm Greg Migliori.
Don't forget to check back soon. We're going to have our editor's picks.
Editor's picks. Almost forgot
cars.
those.
Yep. And so, we'll have those soon. And make sure to let us know what you think are your favorites, or that you think we should have chosen for ours. I'm sure you'll have some different opinions than some of our editors.
Well said, John. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the LA Auto Show. I know we sure did. We'll see you later.
We'll see you at CES in Detroit.